Miss Kind-Hearted. Well, hello, hello, hello. I scoped earlier, but I deleted it because I didn't want to say anything, but apparently this is the topic of the hour. We're all watching a train wreck named Churchy, and we've all seen train wrecks by other names on Periscope and other live streams. And I'm frustrated watching this. I was very close to calling the police and the local mental health department where she was at. I had figured it out who she is, where she's at, but I decided to just wait it out and see what will happen because I was told by someone, just be careful. She's been doing this for a couple of years now. This is all an act. She's not as helpless as I thought she was. She's not at risk of hurting herself. This is just a system that she has created for herself with help of people who are enabling her, possibly because they are codependents or possibly because they enjoy watching the drama. This is literally a reality show, but the most ghetto version of reality show on Periscope. And it's really sad to watch. All I have to say is that please stop funding her. I know what it's like to be homeless. I have been homeless in the past, along with my boyfriend, who later on became my husband, and I'm still married to him. We actually came from really good backgrounds, both of us. I'm highly educated. I have experience as a mental health and addiction recovery advocate. My husband, he comes from a very upper middle class family. He has a skill set. Now he's a good provider. He's taking good care of myself, our home, and my older son from previous marriage. So it is possible to get out of miserable situations by using what's available in the community as a stepping stone, instead of leeching off of people's kindness on social media platforms. What I was watching today was a toddler fit being thrown by a self-entitled elderly woman who decided that she was going to pretend that she was hungry, thirsty, and at risk of hurting herself should people not come to her rescue and meet her demand of a hotel. She was too selfish to do what most homeless people do, which is try to use the community resources that are available. Hello, firefighter. Try to use the community resources that are available in this good old America. First of all, who told this foolish woman to leave her state of Florida, to go on a drive all the way to California, where we actually currently are seeing a mass exodus from? California is actually in a very dire situation. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just watching this train wreck named Churchy. And she's not the first one I've seen. I've seen other train wrecks on here. And I've usually never said anything about the other train wrecks, but I keep watching. She's not the first person to do this, to turn to the social media to try to get money from people or resources. And people keep enabling her, some of them, and some of them don't, which is good because they have already seen what it's like with her. I'm seeing this elderly woman throwing fits. Her car is packed like a trash dumpster. Her clothing is horrible. And she's acting like she's parched. She's thirsty. She's hungry. She's throwing her clothes around in a hissy fit, begging people to give her a hotel, then not showing up when people do have resources for her, disrespecting them. Like, who the heck died and made her a princess? I just want to know. California is a third world country. They're terrible out there. Yes, I've heard. And you know what? Coming from a third world country, I'm willing to bet California is still better than the third world country that I came from. I don't feel bad for her. I was beginning to feel bad for her earlier today when I saw her throwing little fits and crying and throwing her stuff around. I began to wonder about her mental condition. I began to wonder if she was a suicide risk based on the amount of crying she was displaying. I began to wonder about her safety, given that she was complaining she was hungry and thirsty. I was beginning to worry that somebody might abuse her, being that she's elderly, after she complained how her wallet might have been taken away. Thanks, Rob. Hey, Rob. Might have been taken away by someone. I was beginning to worry about her. And what I did is I started taking notes. I started observing her environment. I started watching her. Thank you. I started watching her clothing. I started watching her demeanor. I started noting what she was saying, the kind of places she was referencing and other people were referencing, to kind of make a profile of her. Because what I was going to do, quite frankly, as a mental health advocate, which is my responsibility, is if I felt like she was in danger, in serious danger, I was going to contact the proper authorities to get her the help that she needs, despite the fact that some of her friends are feeling sorry that she might get committed. I don't feel sorry committing people. If you're going to sit out there and portray yourself as so weak and vulnerable and helpless that people are beginning to worry about your safety and feel like they have to take care of you, and you're portraying that you're so mentally ill that you have no idea of how to take care of yourself, then I don't apologize if I have to take the step to contact the authorities to get you psychiatrically evaluated, to get you maybe even put into an elderly care facility for your own well-being, because it's better than being on the street. But what I noticed is a couple of hours later, she was fine. Back to begging again. Poor Uncle Rich. Yes, I watched Uncle Richard. He's such a cool guy to watch. You know, I enjoyed because he was sharing his drives with kick-ass music. I saw how he got caught up with her because he shared how his own, I believe, granddaughter or niece struggles with mental illness. So he's seeing a bit of himself, his own family, in this lady named Churchy, who's playing on the heartstrings of people on Periscope community. My personal understanding, people, is, and this is research, people who are very generous are the ones who don't have a lot to give. The extremely wealthy, they don't give anything out of their own bank unless it's a tax write-off. People who have a lot of money, the extreme wealthy, they're not going to sit and sacrifice themselves. Usually people who are very giving, kind souls, they're sacrificing. They don't have that kind of money to give. They don't have money to waste, so they're taking what they need or their family members need to give to people who are social leeches, like Churchy and the other kinds I've seen around here. And to me, that kind of parasitic behavior, that needs to be reported, and I'm sorry, I don't feel sorry for the people like this. And I know the friends of this person's going to go into a tizzy. No, don't do that. Don't hurt her. You know, people, if they're donating money, that's their problem. Why are you guys getting involved? Because I know that people who are giving here, they're being kind and generous, and they're being manipulated, and they don't even have money to give, because most people on Periscope are not wealthy, or they would not be on Periscope. Most people on here are probably just taking care of themselves and their families, surviving themselves. I don't think Paris Hilton and the Clintons and Obamas and Trump is on here. Did you hear what diesel stock Josh is going through? I don't know. Even I fell for the Churchy Act. And I started observing things. I took out my notepad. I started collecting information on her, and I was going to place a phone call to get her at least psychiatrically evaluated, because she was literally presenting herself to be that emotionally distraught. Where I was worried, what if this elderly lady ends up self-destructing? Because the last thing anybody wants to see, even though I don't know her, I don't want to see a human life end, especially an elderly lady like that, because I have a mom who's elderly. I have a mother-in-law who's elderly. And God forbid one day I'll be elderly. I would hope people would take care of me if I get that crazy. And I'm so glad people stopped me. They said, hold up, this is an act. She does this all the time. And lo and behold, I took a nap, I went out, got my eye exam done, come back, and yes, Miss Churchy's fine. Begging and demanding money, gas money, hotel money, this money, that money. Uncle Richard paid for a van to be fixed. Yes, I heard about that. I heard about that. Here's the thing, people. Y'all need to stop giving her money because the community has resources. Trust me. I have been homeless, so I'm not speaking, as a judgmental person. I have lived this experience. I have been homeless in the past with my husband while we were dating because of poor decisions we made. We worked. We used the community services. We were not too proud to eat at the local homeless shelter. We were not too proud to go to maybe even soup kitchens. We were not too proud to go to the community shower and take the shower along with other people who were very disgusting. We didn't even belong to that kind of family, but we knew how to humble ourselves. You can't really walk around with your nose up in the air when you're that level down. If you're genuinely that level down, you're going to humble yourself down, face the reality, and accept whatever help is out there instead of leeching off of people. Quite frankly, I've been in difficult situations and I've never begged for money except once because I needed to get home. Well, not home. I was homeless, so I needed to get to the Salvation Army shelter because they had a time cutoff. If you didn't make it up to a certain hour, then you would lose your bed. So in that dire situation, I did beg for money and I got up to $3. That was enough gas to get me to the shelter. And from there on, the shelter pointed me to another resource where I got money. And of course I was working. So after that, I quit and I never felt good about asking for money because that means you're putting other people in a difficult situation of having to say no to you. And if they don't say no to you, if they don't have money, then you're taking money from them that they could be using for their family. Now let me read the comments now because I know people are saying a lot of things there. See, calling the cops on her was wrong. I did not call the cops on her, but if she was going to continue acting like her life was at risk, that she was hungry, she was thirsty, her living situation is trash, her clothes that they were showing were literally like horrible. If she's a health hazard to herself, and if she's going to present herself as a hungry woman, thirsty woman, living in extreme bad conditions that can lead to her detriment, then as a mental health advocate, I have no problems calling the police on her and getting her committed civilly until we make sure she's okay. I don't care, because if you're going to put on that kind of show for people to watch, as an advocate over here, I don't know if you're lying or if you're being genuine. And I would definitely step up to the plate and make sure that I've done my part to make sure you're safe, because I don't want to have it on my conscience that tomorrow, should she die, I will have regret that why didn't I do something? And that's a regret that a lot of people will have. So there are other people also talking about contacting authorities on her to get her the help that she needs. And you can't blame people like me or other people on here who are saying, well, if she's presenting herself that horrible, then we don't want to sit here and watch somebody die. Because what if she gets robbed? What if somebody does hurt her? What if she's hungry as she's presenting herself? What if she really is mentally incapable of taking care of herself? I don't want to see a woman die, even if I don't know her. She's an elderly lady. I know a lot of people don't want to see her die. train wreck or not, she's still a human being. So at that point, you can't blame people like me stepping up to the plate and doing our part. That's not us being mean. That's not about, oh, you're taking her freedom away. It's about taking care of her, a human being. I would want to do that for anybody. I would want people to do that for me if I'm that level crazy. So people need to stop playing on these social media apps, because one day somebody's going to watch and they will do what they have to do to protect you, because now you're making yourself seem that helpless. So stop playing on people's sentiments. You know what? This is triggering, quite frankly. Think about it. You don't know what people have been through in their own personal lives. They may have lost elderly people. They may have lost their loved ones to similar or worse situations. So you're triggering them. People are watching and they're connecting with you. They might be feeling triggered by your situation because they're being reminded of the helplessness that they felt when they lost their loved ones to similar situations. And then, what do you think they're going to do when they feel triggered? They're going to feel like they need to do what they have to do to protect you, because they're going to miss their loved one and wish somebody had done something to protect them. And then people are going to bitch about it, right? You're going to bitch about, oh, you took away her freedoms. You got her institutionalized. Well, what the fuck you expect? Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't know the people you're showing yourself, you're faking, you're playing drama, and you're showing yourself like that, how they're going to react and respond to that. They may have trauma in their lives. They're feeling helpless watching you put on this fake act, not knowing if you're faking it or you're being legit. So this is literally my request to people. Please do not play games on social media platforms, live streaming, playing on the heartstrings of other people, taking their money, taking their kindness, and misusing it, abusing it. There are resources available to people. Go use those resources. Humble down. You don't need a hotel. You know, we had to humble down. We had to sleep in a Salvation Army bed. We had to sleep in campgrounds. We had to sleep cramped up in our car. We had to learn how to use the bathrooms in office buildings. We had to learn how to sleep on the floor of the office for a couple of months. We had to learn how to keep ourselves safe on the streets in the cold and the sweltering heat. You know, we had to learn how to use the Burger King bathroom, people. You know, because the best part of the Burger King bathroom is that it's one person only usually. So you can shut yourself in and quickly groom yourself and take care of your needs before you go to work. So there are ways to self-care, even if you're that down and out on luck. And most churches, even in most communities, if there is not a local health service department, there are churches that will be more than happy to step up to the plate and give you love and grace, which is the Christian spirit. So there's no excuse for anybody to be on Periscope leeching off of people. No excuse for that. This is shameful behavior. It's horrible behavior. It's not godly. It's disgusting. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And if you guys are these people's friends, as you're claiming, then put some sense into these people and tell them, one day you're going to go too far. There's going to be somebody out there who's going to have to do what they have to do. And you may end up losing your own freedoms because you were that stupid and you abused your freedoms. Thank you, firefighter. That's all I got to say. I'm done watching this drama. If I feel she's in danger, if I see anything like that, I'm going to do what I have to do. And I'm sure there are other people on here who will do what they have to do. So get your act together, people. Unless you're really in dire situation, your life is truly in danger, do not use social media platforms to to be vultures on other nice, kind souls. Don't do that. And if you're in that dire situation, you should be humble enough to accept the help that people give you, which will be pointing you to the Human Services Department or local churches to get you situated. You do not need to be making a fool of yourself and hurting other people. Yes, God has definitely blessed us and helped us because we worked really hard to get better, to get right with God, and we're still trying. We're not perfect people. We will never take advantage of anybody like that. There have been days when we've gone hungry. We have. Like when my son came home, with addiction and mental health issues, trying to kill himself, threatening to kill me. I'm running around town using my skill set to keep him alive because he's an adult. So to work with an adult in that situation is really hard. There were days when my house was neglected and we had no food in our systems. We were starving, but we never, never begged anybody to come take care of us. We were grown up. We pulled on our big boy pants and big girl pants, and we took care of ourselves. And we knew that this day shall pass. And one day we will look back at it and we'll be fine. And that's what happened. We put on our big boy, big girl pants. Didn't go around leeching off of people around us. The only thing I did beg for was prayers. I definitely begged for prayers. I reached out to my community. I reached out to my friends and family. I reached out to family across the seas and begged for prayers. I said, please pray. Please pray, because prayers are more than enough. And the rest we can take care of. Yes, sir. Those prayers were answered. So, Churchy, if you're going to watch me and all the other people on social media platforms begging for money, if you're going to watch this, may I remind you, God's watching you. Don't be a wicked soul. You're not that helpless. I've seen you. I've observed you. Yes, you do have mental illness, but you're not that intellectually deficient, which means retarded. Back then, they used to call it retarded. Now, the words have changed. They become polite in the mental health community. Now we call it intellectually deficient. You're not that intellectually deficient that you don't know how to survive. You know how to use Periscope and how to get your needs met by preying on people's weaknesses. As a sister in Christ, I beg you, please don't do this. Please take better care of yourself. Please contact the local health services department. They will line you up with a case manager who will be more than happy. They're trained social workers who have resources available to them. They'll be more than happy to help you, access the services you need to stabilize you and help you, have a decent life where you're not begging and taking advantage of others. All right, take care. Thank you so much. Enjoy your time with your family. So that's all I have to say to you, Churchy. Stop being a brat. Quite frankly, if I was your mother, I would give you a tight slap across your face. I literally would, because that's what you deserve. I'm seriously telling you, I hate saying this, you're elderly, but sometimes people need a tight slap from people who care about them. And if I was near you and you were my family, I would slap the shit out of you. And I would tell you, get yourself together. Stop embarrassing yourself and our family. If you were my mother. And I would say, get your act together. Be a godly woman. Put on your big girl panties. And call the social services department. Get help. Get yourself situated. Whatever you're going through, sweetheart, it's not that bad. It too shall pass. Keep your eye focused on the Lord. And it ain't that bad. You're alive. If you're alive, you got a fighting chance. God bless you. Thanks for watching, and please share it out.